Let's move on to Kathy Griffin. She's still in major hot water over that controversial photo shoot with the fake decapitated head of President Trump. The Secret Service grilling the comedian, or reportedly grilling her, for more than an hour as part of a federal investigation into the debacle. Christi, again, she immediately turned. She offered a weak apology and then immediately turned it around and said that her life was being destroyed by the Trump family. But again, she's getting just desserts based on what she did.
Absolutely. I think what she did, the stunt that she pulled, was absolutely ridiculous. It's not a funny thing. And now you have to, you chose to do this, and these are the consequences that you have to suffer. You might have some backlash for doing something like this. It's not funny. And, I mean, at the end of the day, this is our president. He needs to be shown respect, whether or not you agree with his politics.
And celebrities are not untouchable, by the way. I think what they're doing here is exactly right. We have freedom of speech, but within a line.
Not when it looks like that you're threatening the life of the president.
You can't threaten somebody's life,
right?
Especially the president's.
Exactly. So is she going to cry hard times now that she's being interviewed by the Secret Service, rightfully? Democrats, meantime, Richard, I'm going to get your take on this, are pushing a new bill to examine President Trump's mental health and potentially use the findings to seek his removal. Even some within the party say this is going way too far. Former Democratic Congressman Dennis Kucinich blasted the proposal yesterday. Listen to this.
Well, it's a political statement, not a medical statement, and I think it's destroying the party as an effective opposition. People want political parties to be focused on America's economic needs, on jobs, wages, health care, education, retirement security, and peace. And they want American politicians to be constructive, not destructive. And I think that, what's happening here is it's not good for the country.
Harlan, are you, Richard, I want to get your take first. Do you agree with Congressman Kucinich?
I do agree. The stunts like this, very similar to the birth certificate stunt pulled off by the current president to the former president, they just take away from the message, and they take away from what we're able to do on a policy perspective. We're better off talking about the fact that the entire Trump agenda is stalled in the United States Senate, and it's been that way for the past 100 and some odd days. And because of that, he got no major accomplishment besides Neil Gorsuch in his first 100 days. And it looks like there's no chance of them getting a health care bill prior to the August recess. So that is what we should be talking about instead of stupid things like this.
I'm really glad Richard said that, but it flies in the face of, a couple dozen members of Congress. It flies in the face of the strategy that we've seen articulated by the Democratic Party in trying to delegitimize this president.
Sheila Jackson-Lee was very careful. Neil Cavuto interviewed her last week, and she said, she was very careful. She said, I think he should resign, is what she kept saying.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the mainstream media and Democrats have done everything to delegitimize him, to question his mental health. They've made comparisons that weren't so thinly veiled between President Donald Trump and Adolf Hitler. It should, following up to our previous statement here, it should come as no surprise that you have people like Snoop Dogg assassinating the president at point-blank range in a music video. You have Madonna saying she wants to blow up the White House.
Harlan,
there is a level of discourse here that's encouraged by the Democratic Party that's unhealthy.
Just because you have there's no correlation doesn't equal causation in this one. I think you've got to parse the two, and what Republicans like to do over and over again is try to lump in mainstream media, the Democratic Party, and Hollywood.
They're one
and
and the
those
same,
are three.
frankly.
No, but they're really not.
They might not be, but the message sounds awfully familiar, and a lot of people on other networks look like they're reading talking points that were written by Nancy Pelosi.
Mind you, a lot of the reason what the media is talking about is the fact that this president can't stop tweeting crazy things from his Twitter account like a 5-year-old child.
But again, that the vitriol has taken a step up in the last.
They're only reporting what he's doing,
6 months. Richard, it was good to see you. We'll see you in a little bit. Christi Kunzig and Lindsey and Harlan, we've got them all 3 hours.